Hi everybody, welcome to this, the next edition of our podcast. And today we want to talk about the idea of quiet quitting. Have you heard of this thing?
Yeah, I mean, we were quite swamped over like the past month, so I
Yeah.
saw like people mention it online, so I went to
A lot of
read up
people
a
ask
little
us
bit.
about it also, right? Yeah.
Someone sent us a DM like, "Oh, can you do a comment about quiet quitting?" But take very long to do.
So maybe let me like sort of explain look up a definition of quiet quitting, right? So I think the best one I've seen definition wise is that quiet quitting is where you are not outright quitting your job, but you are quitting the idea of going above and beyond at your day job. Yeah. What were your thoughts about the quiet quitting thing?
I just think it's a misnomer, and I think many people share this opinion also.
Yeah.
Like, it's just called doing your job like a regular person. Because I think the default that society maybe now demands of you is the extra, right? So
Going above and beyond hustle culture as a norm almost. Right?
So maybe not society. Maybe people feel that society has made hustle culture the norm.
Yeah.
So to them, quiet quitting or like quitting means not doing the norm. So in a way, the index of work has shifted forward.
The index of work.
Okay, like the 0 point of work.
Right.
Where it's considered like work.
Yeah.
Quiet quitting.
Yeah.
So maybe last time quiet quitting was just doing a job.
Yeah.
But because of hustle culture, right?
Yeah.
Like it
The standard has been pushed
advanced
forward.
a bit here.
I don't even know if it's because hustle porn and hustle culture has existed forever, right? I'm sure back in caveman days, there were cavemen that tried to work harder than
I'm not
other
so sure.
people.
So there's like a,
caveman LinkedIn.
there's
All this stuff.
a carry V or something.
Yeah, carry a caveman carry. Ooh. It reminds me of the hikikomori thing. It reminds me of the life light movement also.
Yeah.
And then it also, of course, then you think about like people who want to retire early. Because I think this ultimately comes from a similar place, which is like a resentfulness of a day job, i.e. like a job that you are doing just to survive, right? And that's not, I think, fun for a lot of people. I feel like it might be a generational thing also because I think like with our generation and the one next, like after us also, it has become less and less about survival, where job is something you just do as a thing in life, you know, the idea of retirement. I think you said something about how retirement, or basically not working as a mode of living in life, is a very new, relatively new concept.
If I'm not wrong, was introduced in the 1700s by some French dude.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's the French.
Of course, the French.
Yeah.
What's this stupid stereotype, dude?
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
I take it back.
I will not work
Hey,
forever
no,
now.
don't say this. Don't say
Why
this.
cannot?
No.
I cannot do a French accent.
No, we can't do the French accent.
Okay, I'll cut this out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's introduced by this French guy.
Yeah, so in the past, actually, people worked really until they die.
Yeah.
And that is normal. Also because in the past, life expectancy wasn't so great.
Yeah.
So you want until you die, maybe it's at 60 years old. Then
It's like before you collect your CPF nowadays, right?
Yeah.
It's 65. Right?
Yeah, so maybe like in the 1920s or something.
You just didn't get to live long enough to retire.
Yes, but then now you live long. So yes, there's a period of time you retire. But the concept itself in human history is very, very short.
Yeah. Like I read something before about that, like pertaining to. Okay, but I think let's just put this quiet quitting out of the way first. Like so, your take is that it's just doing your job, right? I like what a lot of people were saying, and we won't talk too much about that because I think a lot of other people have said it on TikTok better than we can. Which is basically, if you look at it from another angle, it's like you are setting healthy boundaries with your work and your life. That's it, right? You do that anyway when you negotiate for your job and you say, what are the work hours like? That's what you're doing, right? Like your point about like hustle culture pushing the thing forward. I don't know if that's the way it is or like it's just
Perception.
Maybe it is. Then now this is pushing back. As a movement, you are pushing back against hustle culture, right? So that's why it is even a thing now. They labeled it, and even though the essence is the same as say setting healthy boundaries at your work or just doing your job, you labeling it means that I'm calling it this, and then we can all subscribe to it, and then we all collectively push this thing together.
I think like I am label agnostic. Like whatever Gen Z wants to name it, I'm fine, as long as they use it to establish good work boundaries.
But labeling matters. Maybe this is because of our background as marketers. Like it's like the glass half full, glass half empty. Like you are doing the same thing, but calling it the thing, right, changes how you feel about it and how you approach it. Setting healthy boundaries with your work-life balance is, I feel, a more positive way to look at it. Quiet quitting, I feel like it's a very bad label. Because why don't you just quit then? Because you can't, right? Because you haven't had enough agency and resources yet to quit. Then why label your relationship with work as a resentful one? Maybe this comes across very hustle culturally of me, But I also don't like working, right? Even here when we are doing our own things, sometimes I wake up like, I don't want to work today.
Oh,
I get it also.
I felt that today, yeah.
Yeah, so I read this thing, I remember when I was working 9 to 5 at this, my last time my company, before I did work Salaryman, right? It was something like a meme where it's like, if you go to toilets, if you take a 20-minute toilet break every day, so you just sit on the toilet bowl and do nothing, right? 20 minutes every day, right? I forgot the figures because it was part of some stupid meme that I couldn't find, but I just did some calculation, right? Okay, so if you go 20 minutes toilet every day and just do nothing, right? In 1 year, you will get 86 hours of not working.
Wow.
Which is about 3.5 days. So when I first saw that when I was working, I was like, wow, this is a great idea. But then when I was doing it, I'm like, why am I defining my relationship with work? Like, I'm wasting my time sitting on a fucking toilet bowl in a toilet cubicle, and I think this is, hey, I'm getting one over on my boss.
Yeah, exactly. As someone who has done this on a regular basis.
Yes. I used to work with you, I know.
Yeah, I think it's not a very good way to spend your time.
Yeah. I'd rather if we want to make it a movement, right, where as a generation, right, we together renegotiate the new norms of what a working relationship between an employer and an employee or employee and a company is. If that means, for example, at the work Salaryman, a lot of people sleep on the couch in the afternoon. He does it actually everybody has done it. Except for
you don't
me.
do it,
Yeah, I don't do it.
Why? Do you feel vulnerable when you sleep? That's why?
Exactly. I don't want my mouth open and people take picture of me.
Yeah, but that's why we cover our mouth with a hoodie.
Well, you don't always. I've taken pictures of you sleeping with your mouth open.
Why would you do that?
I have a collection. Some which you don't even know about.
I'm disturbed.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said that.
Okay.
Damn it. I gave away my blackmail cards already.
I'm sad.
Yeah, so with sleep pods, I think also with the employers, on the company side, maybe this is all bullshit one, but I also feel a lot of workplaces are trying to embrace the idea of decompression or not working as a part of the formula for productivity. I mean, come on, let's face it, your company still ultimately wants you for your productivity and the work that you do, right?
Of course.
You can't get away from that.
So even if they give you some perk, it's so that you can work better.
Yeah, and that's not a taboo thing to say.
Yeah.
That is what it is. I'm paying you so you can work not so you can realize your dreams and whatever. That stuff is on top of the basic need that you must cover for me, right?
It's secondary, right?
Yeah, it's secondary. Yeah. Maybe quiet quitting is a marketing way to start this convo, and if that's the case, it's okay, right?
I think
but
it's okay.
I still don't like the term quiet quitting.
I'm sure when I don't know, millennials came up with some other term. There was some Gen X person who fussed over it. No, really, I just feel, they just do whatever you want as long as it is in the right direction.
I think that's fair. Yeah. I felt quite a lot of bewilderment when I didn't know if that's me being out of touch because we are new employers, right? We very recently quit our jobs to do this. So is this a sign of us losing touch? Maybe it is, But I feel like I'm still connected enough with 3 years ago when I was still an employee to understand that resentfulness. I can reach it and I can access it and I know how I feel.
Of course.
But I still feel like the better way to think about it is still to always have very clear what your boss actually wants from you, which is productivity, and make productivity part of that negotiation and that formula for a better work-life balance,
I think it's quiet quitting in many ways is the cutting off your nose to spite your face or something.
What's that? I don't cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Is it that's what I call Viv? Sorry? Cutting off your nose to spite your face.
It's an intriguing analogy. Can you explain? Maybe it's a reminism, but maybe it's said one.
It is something like.
It is a claim.
What is it?
One's nose to spite one's face.
Okay.
It means to do something that is meant to harm someone else, but that also harms the person who does it.
So it's fuck you, boss, but actually by doing this, right,
you're harming yourself.
You also damage yourself also.
Yeah. Because by not going above and beyond at your workplace, right, you can say, haha, fuck you. You see, you're paying me salary. But what you might also be losing is somebody else working hard and getting that promotion over you or getting that advancement over you.
So maybe quiet quitting is...
Well, I adjust the camera a bit. It's going to look weird, but I explain so that I can do it. Yeah, the lighting because the sun is setting. Yeah, quiet quitting is...
Yeah, so maybe quiet quitting is... Fuck, I lost my train of thought.
So we're talking about spiting the boss and then there's somebody that come above you, you know, when you're not working.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
Yeah.
I still don't get it.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah,
Let me think. You continue first.
So I think when you do that, it's really like you say, cut off your nose to spite your face, because it's like you are actually not sabotaging yourself, but like you.
Yeah. So quiet quitting is something you do when all other options have been exhausted already.
Yeah.
You talk to your boss.
That's true.
That you're in a desperate situation.
That's
you
true,
need
that's
money.
true.
Quitting is not an option right now. So I quiet quit. I might quiet quit in situations like that,
Right,
but it won't be
right.
my first option. It won't be like, today my boss speak rudely to me. Okay, I quiet quit. No,
Yeah,
I will
yeah.
first go try to talk to my boss like,
That's fair.
hey, can you not talk to me like that?
Yeah.
Or like, hey, what do you think if we do it this way? Then if my boss is like unreceptive, maybe 2 or 3 times, then it's like, okay, you know what? I will quiet quit, and then I'll look for another job elsewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's fair lah. When you say like, I also it takes all the fire out of my belly, because it's like,
Oh, wow,
okay lah, that's very fair lah, right?
Yeah.
But the contingency is that you must then
must
do
do-
what it takes to get options then.
Yeah.
Because this cannot be a long-term solution, because you do that, like you have very little agency in life, you have no progression, no sense of purpose, and you just become, it's like you stave off immediate death, but your existence will be so miserable. You know? I think that's really very sad.
And also, if you want to like cut off your nose to spite your face, right? You have to consider that your boss a lot more resources than you.
Yeah.
Like you cut off your nose, that's your one nose.
Yeah,
But your
yeah.
boss has like
Many
900
noses.
faces, right?
Right,
Or
right.
900 years or something.
Right.
So he's like, okay, you do whatever you
Yeah,
want.
you
You
do
know,
lah, yeah.
I know in the end you will wilt and suffer and dry out yourself.
Yeah.
And actually, I think that's what a lot of bosses do. When people quiet quit,
Yeah.
they just say like, oh, yeah lah, he has given up. It's fine, you know, he will quit by himself.
Well, that's one of the saddest things that I've seen
is,
in the
it is.
workplace. You know, how they, instead of hiring people because they have to pay severance, or that they starve out an employee like that. It's like instead of shooting you, I will keep you in your bunker, and I'll cut off your supply line, and I see you die.
The word is, I will manage you.
I'll
out.
manage you out. Yeah. It's one of the most saddest things that I've seen, like in the corporate
Yeah.
environment, and it's just miserable.
Both sides have a responsibility or have a role in it also.
Yeah.
I think sometimes
Yeah.
people are managed out because they are bad for the company. They don't put in effort,
Yeah.
and they do not want to quit.
Yeah.
Then in these cases, managing someone out might be the only scenario.
I see.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So from a business perspective, I also understand that.
Yeah.
But from an employee perspective, I also know the pain of being managed out. lah. Yeah.
Oh.
Because maybe your boss scared to tell you, you suck.
Yeah.
Maybe he's afraid of giving feedback.
Yeah.
Maybe they, like you said, do not want to pay severance.
Yeah.
So I feel when it comes to quiet quitting and also managing people out,
It could be a way to solve a problem
Yeah.
with options that you do not have right now.
it's a subpar way, it's a suboptimal way, but
definitely, yeah.
it is a way, and many people do that. So
Yeah.
before employers like shit on people who quiet quit, I mean they must touch the heart also. Or have I managed someone out also? I feel like that's a more nuanced take to just villainizing the movement as well.
Right. Yeah, I just wish eventually, please just call it somebody else and understand that quiet quitting cannot be a long-term solution. Yeah, because it's a long-term downward solution for yourself. I also find that there's a lot of like similarity, and I wonder if it's related to the hikikomori thing, which actually came before all of this, then the life-led movement in China. Because I feel like if you were to plot a spectrum of, say, resentfulness of work and how little you want to work, hikikomori is the most extreme end, where you either don't work and you rely on your parents, or you do the bare minimum, like doing online work. You don't even go outside. Life-led is more like maybe 75% quit, where you're like, I take on odd jobs, but I keep my expenditure fucking low so that I can sort of have a more carefree life. Then this is like, I feel like 50% to 25% quit, where you are sort of not striving hard, but just existing on the bare minimum to be able to get that job. And it led me to also think about something that there's a YouTuber called Gary
V.
No, not Gary V. Gary Tan.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like a
Gary
VC,
with
two
double R's.
Yeah, this is good content. He had a video with a very interesting headline. It was something like learn, earn, or quit, which is like basically it's like frameworks for not wasting your life at work.
Yep.
What do you think about that?
I think if you make it absolutes, then it's very hard to be a reasonable person and say that. Like either you learn, either you earn, or you quit.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes maybe I just wanna take a break and just
Yeah.
earn like a mediocre, okay salary. Okay, so for example, let's say I have 9 kids. Okay, I don't know why 9 kids so many. Okay, maybe
Damn.
I have 2 kids.
Yeah.
Right. Then I want to take on a job that I'm very comfortable, so I can spend time with them. Then maybe I don't learn, I don't earn a lot of money also. Then should I quit? No, because it pays for
It's allowing me to spend time
the whatever,
with
yeah.
and cultivate and foster good value. in my
the 2
kids,
offspring
right?
that I have created. And me and my
You make it very
partner.
clinical. Offspring.
Yeah,
The 2 specimens that we procreated.
Yes,
Yeah.
manufactured in the factory of flesh
Right.
and other fluids.
It's fucking disgusting.
Oh shit. Okay, so what would you do today if like Viv said, "Hey, I'm quiet quitting"? Although she won't
say
lah,
it.
she
lah.
won't say
That's, she would have blown it. That's just quitting. Already. That's not very quiet.
it. Yeah.
But if I detect that somebody is quiet quitting, I will feel like, in an ideal situation, what you should do is then to say, actually, I feel like productivity-wise, you're not really keeping up. I feel like it's hard because as a company also it's not like we need everybody to be. We need to squeeze every drop out of them at every single moment.
We don't need lah. We don't need.
We don't need also.
Yeah, of course.
If the business is running okay, I'm
Yeah.
okay with somebody that's not full on.
There are off days, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's
sometimes work come in, sometimes work doesn't
I
come
need
in.
work off days sometimes, you know,
Yeah.
but I will still need a basic level of
Productivity.
fairness for everybody else who's showing up as well. And life happens, but these things also you need to show up regularly to be fair to all your other colleagues, and there's a system that we have for that. I think nowadays with our generation, it has become a bit more flexible, and then especially with the whole remote working thing, you multiply by this thing. Remote working also gives you a lot of avenues to quiet quit because you don't even have to be at your desk.
Or just not do work in general.
Yeah. But then on the other hand also, I think remote working has been good for people who are naturally very productive because they do the work, then they can chill. And that doesn't bode anything bad for the company at all. That has no drawbacks for the company because I'm still getting my productivity.
Yeah, I think if you can be if you are shown to do your work regularly, consistently,
Yeah.
then
I feel like if somebody was quiet quitting an organization, I would not want them to manage them out. I would rather just say it and terminate myself.
hey, you quiet quit, right?
Because
Just call them out.
okay, maybe then. I mean, we're just talking here, so we haven't really thought about this, right? I think maybe then a more proper thing would be to have a conversation to say, I feel like your productivity is not quite up to what we want. Is it possible for you to raise it? Are there any difficulties that you're facing? And if we had that conversation and then things are still not ideal, I might think about cutting that person. It sounds very brutal, and I don't like to say it like that, but I think about, there's this scene in this movie I really like called Moneyball, starring Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill. And there was a scene where Brad Pitt is quizzing Jonah Hill's character. If you had to fire somebody from our baseball team, how would you do it? Let's try now. Fire me. And Jonah Hill was kind of well, the team's been facing this. And then Brad Pitt is no, don't do that. No, I think he said something would you rather a shot to the head or 50 shots to the chest?
They're professional ball players. Just be straight with them. No fluff, just facts. Pete, I gotta let you go. Jack's office will handle the details.
That's it? Really?
Would you rather get a bullet to the head or 5 to the chest and bleed to death?
Are those my only 2 options?
I think the ideal way to do is to have that talk beforehand. That talk beforehand is the 50 shots to the chest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 50 scatters of pepper.
Yeah,
instead
to
of
warn,
shots.
look, it's coming. I'm concerned about this, I'm concerned about that. But when it comes time to cut, I think just cut clean instead of managing somebody out. Because when I manage somebody out, we're still paying salary. So that's also not good for our organization, to have that. Then the desk is taken up, for example, and that's not good also, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Maybe big organizations can do that. I don't know.
I think, but then that comes at the cost of efficiency, I guess. Let's say you work if you're working on a job that your salary comes from taxpayer money, I can see why that might be a morally hazardous decision to quiet quit.
Yeah, because this is public funds and resources that you are sort of quiet quitting on.
Yeah, and you also you take the opportunity away from someone else who could have wanted to serve the
But why
common-
is there a distinction between public and private? Because private also, I guess, a corporation. I mean, I'm so tired of this corporations are evil kind of narrative, and I give it very little credence. And there are evil corporations, of course. But I mean, why is there a distinction between public and private? Because it's still somebody's money that they have put in to try to create valuable products or service in most cases.
I think it's got to do with how people perceive the purpose of what our business is and what the public service is. Public service serve the people.
Yeah.
Company make as much money as possible.
But usually that is done by providing value, but via a service or product, right?
Yeah, but I think
so that's still.
But people can't see that nuance.
I feel like it is. There's no difference there. But I guess this is another thing for another podcast.
I think when
corporations
it comes
evil?
to people like taxpayer money, people confirm very sensitive.
I see. So from a marketing point of view,
Yeah.
I guess when you say like that, it's very easy to go, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you still
that's not right.
You still Jeff Bezos money.
Good, yeah, still more,
but
yes.
Then walao, I pay for tax.
Yeah.
Then you
then you sit there and so like
Yeah.
do nothing for 8 months.
Yeah,
like, what?
that's you can see.
Yeah, I
you can
guess.
see that.
You're right. Yeah.
Okay,
On
so
the marketing level, yes, I agree.
another question.
Yeah.
What will you do right now if you're thinking of quiet quitting?
So I feel like I've done it before, but actually looking back at it, I didn't really do it in that way. So what is the level of quiet quitting? Is it like bare minimum to survive? Because even when I felt resentful, even when I was sick of work, I have this, maybe it's a curse, I have this ethic to at least do my due to give an agreed person that I signed a contract with my productivity. So I think I actually never did it, even though I felt like sometimes I was lazy.
Yeah.
But I still kept up my work because I never had an issue with like work performance and
Yeah.
deliverables and things like that. But there are people who
Yeah.
do, and maybe they are just geared in a different way.
So here's what I think. Like, so in advertising, I used to work from maybe like 10 to 10 p.m.
Yeah, to 10 p.m., right?
to, sometimes 10, sometimes 11, sometimes 2 a.m.
Yeah.
But the contract would say your working hours are, I think, 9 to 6.
Oh, I see where you're going. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for
So
me,
because they are breaching it, I have the right
yeah,
to set it right
yeah,
by performing under.
yeah. So even though everyone will be working
Yeah.
in like until God knows how.
Okay.
Quiet quitting for me would just be like, oh, okay, the contract says here
Nah, I do like that lah.
6 p.m. Oh yeah, 6 p.m. I go home.
No
What are you gonna say? Am
But-
I a bad team worker? Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
But the thing says 6 p.m. Then why
Yeah.
the fuck are you all staying so late?
Yeah. So it depends on the culture also, right? Because
Yeah.
like when you say maybe, people from different countries or different generations will answer that question very differently.
Okay, but the hours you agreed to sign on,
Yeah, I still think contract is a very
it's very clear way, right?
It's a very clear
Yeah.
and very
so you screw like
important
the
thing.
social convention, you
Yeah.
screw what people will think of you,
Yeah.
and then you quiet quit that way.
But you know what happened? Your teammates will peer evaluate you badly.
Yeah.
Then you either be managed out or they just downright fire you, but they won't say that it's
Yeah,
because
but,
of this.
but
lah.
whose fault is that, right? Is it the peers' fault because they perpetuate an unfair system where they don't follow the contract? Or is it you?
It's the industry, right? If it's advertising, when it comes to 12-hour, 12-hour, 13-hour, 14-hour work days.
Yeah. But it's the
That
people
is
that form the
industry.
industry, right? It's not just there's a big box, the industry.
Then in that case, it's everybody. Yeah. It's the clients, the industry,
Yeah.
the bosses,
Yeah.
your teammates who perpetuate this thing and don't speak up.
Exactly.
Then when you speak up, you're the one that's singled out and punished for it.
Yeah.
When the contract is not fucking being followed.
Yes.
Right? I've heard that before also as young freelancer that like supposed to take like 50% upfront payment, right? Then they'll tell you things like, look, you're young, you don't understand. I heard this when I was a student, you're young, you don't understand. The industry not like that one. Because the client is not gonna pay you first.
It is not like that.
So you're not gonna do that. It's not gonna happen for you.
Yeah.
And I remember going like, what the fuck? Like, but the contract say like that. But it's not like that. You just won't get the job, lor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah, that's right. So that's like you saying the corporation or the boss got many faces with many noses.
Yeah, you can always find someone else to
who's willing to cut.
replace you.
Yeah,
also.
who's willing to just show the true
right.
face.
You don't want
right?
to do 9 to you don't do 9 to 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Wei Jie will do
There's
it.
50 other people out there queuing.
Wei Jie will do it from 9 to 3.
Supply and demand.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
I mean, please don't make me say fuck you.
So maybe it's a cry of desperation that quiet quitting has to be the way in which we as a generation of younger people coming out now have to say this is my stand and what I'm doing to fight the revolution.
Yeah. I think you cannot say we because you're different gen.
Okay lah, like they lah.
Okay, yeah.
The young people, which I'm no longer a part of.
Yes.
know. So maybe what we can do is that we try to push for a healthier conversation, right?
Yeah, and I
When it
also
comes to these
like,
things.
if you are a millennial who start a business in the future,
Yeah.
I mean, don't be the people you dislike. I mean, it'll be very unfortunate if you complain about abusive workplace, very toxic. Then you go start a company and it's the same cycle all over.
But what if you start a company then you're privy to things that well, actually, I can't balance this without some level of like betraying the movement that I used to think was so clear. Because I think I used to be a lot more left leaning.
Yeah.
But I've become a lot more right leaning as I moved up to management and then eventually now starting our own company. So I don't know whether that shift is generational as they get older and more of that generation start becoming business owners, that they would revert back to a little bit more of a stringent thing where you need certain markers of productivity.
So I mean, yes, I mean having markers of productivity is different from milking everyone dry in that extreme manner. So I think there's a lot of room to negotiate. Like whether it's industry specific also.
Yeah.
So maybe if I were in advertising, I would say y'all can work until 6 p.m. It just means we deliver to clients a bit late, make us less competitive in that way. But hopefully you work more efficiently and be more motivated to produce great ideas during your working hours so that we get to not work after.
See, I think that's a very fair statement. That you are tying it back to productivity, but you are doing so by understanding that we're human beings and we can't just machine on and off, right? But I fear, and this is just a speculative thing, so don't say that I said that all young people say this. I fear that just saying that, right, there will be a lot of people like rolling their eyes like, I see it's all about productivity and work and profits. But actually, yes, because this is what we are doing here. And if you're not signing up for this, right, what you have to do is, like you said, you have to become resourceful enough to start your own version of this. Then show us how you can do it. And there's not a lot of people doing that because it takes a great amount of sacrifice to do that. And like you say, you're cutting off your competitive advantage. Right? So either you have to be so damn good that you can afford to do it.
Competitive advantage when it comes to cost.
When it comes to cost, yeah. So either you have to be extremely good that you have so much edge to cut that you still, at the end of the day, after shaving all that off, you still have quite a strong competitive advantage.
Yeah.
Or you have to use that as part of your marketing and convince people to buy and choose your products.
Yep.
Even when you don't have that cost factor, because we treat people
better.
And I've seen companies that try to do that. For example, Lush, if you buy Lush products, like they have a sticker of the person that brewed your soap. I don't know whether it's just marketing fluff, but it makes me feel like they value them more as like individuals that each give their best to this product. Because I see their face on the damn thing, Yeah.
I also want to highlight like what you said earlier, you have to be damn good to get all this.
To have enough competitive edge that you shave off this extra thing and you still have enough to stand out.
Actually, that's what companies like Google are doing, right?
Right.
They give you like work-life balance. They give you all these perks.
Yeah.
Why? Because they try to attract the very, very best.
Oh, but it's interesting to say Google. Do you see the thing about Google where they recently there was this thing where they need the employees to start working more?
Yeah.
That was quite funny that I saw that, and a lot of people who have more traditional views on like this kind of a productivity side of this argument were very gleeful, like you see so flexible, so liberal. Now it's coming back to haunt you because nobody's doing any fucking work. Do you think like there's a version which is too damn liberal and too damn like do whatever you want at work, where it will actually fuck up the company,
I think the Google thing doesn't show that giving people benefits like makes them abuse it. It's just that they need to work more during this particular time.
So you're saying like the COVID time, is it?
Yeah, I mean like this era of, let's say there's a lot of supply of tech employees.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Right,
I feel like it's a pure supply and demand thing.
Right.
But above all, people still want to join Google
Yeah.
or any other big tech company with a lot of benefits.
Yeah.
Because they do offer a culture that is
Yeah, I mean
less painful, less painful to do.
yeah,
with.
we went to their office last
very
time
nice,
and
very nice.
like got yoga classes that you can go in between in the afternoon, got sleeping rooms.
Yeah.
The catering at lunchtime is phenomenal. Every cuisine you can think of, they probably got something there for you. Man.
Yeah, so the people who are gleeful at like the
I see.
the Google people will never work for them, not in a million years.
As in, they will never get to work for Google. Is that what I mean?
No, the people
Or the people that Google are attracting will never ever work for them.
the people who are haha.
Because they are the best and they have choices, and they probably will not choose to be part of a system that is so traditional to the point where it forces me.
Don't offer flexi work.
Yeah.
Come to office every day.
Yeah. You know, Elon Musk had this thing that people said he sent out to all the employees and said, just to be clear, like, if you are not spending at least, I think something like 8 hours a day, 5 days a week at your office location, wherever you work, you don't work for us because I need you to be here.
Yeah.
What do you think of something like that, for him to say that?
I think it's fair for him to say because it's fair for people to leave also.
Right.
So maybe Elon Musk, he don't need the top 0.1% who demand all these things.
Yes.
Maybe he need
5% down.
the top 5%.
5% down, yeah.
And that's okay. Maybe the top 5% don't need it. Maybe the top 0.1%, like, they rather work elsewhere, and that's fine.
Yeah.
As long as
supply demand is met and he's able to get his stuff out the way he wants it,
exactly,
right?
because I think he's in a position to make that.
Pick and choose, yeah. There are people
But of course,
that
in the best case scenario, all things created equal, of course, I like flexi work and all these benefits.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
But reality is that individual companies have limited bandwidth to provide these things that are very popular.
Individual companies, like SMEs, is that what you're talking about?
No, like companies in general. For example, like our ability to provide paid sabbatical compared to Google.
Oh, yes. We can't fight.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
cannot,
go Google, we can't fight with them.
Yeah. Then ultimately, supply and demand will determine who they hire.
Right. Yeah, it's a very fundamental nature.
Not saying Viv is not good. Oh, no,
Viv is great.
Yeah, Viv, you're great.
Nothing, you're just saying you're great.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
No. Oh, maybe I can
okay.
add a joke for Reels or something.
Okay, go for it.
So my friend who worked at the analyst once told me this joke. No, that's a bad. So my friend once told me, shit, what did I say? Told. So my friend once told me this joke.
Yeah.
So he and his friend were sitting around, and then he was complaining to his friend. He said, this year, my boss not giving me a pay. So his friend said, oh, don't worry, we'll give ourselves increment. Then my friend was like, huh? How? He said, we cannot increase our pay, but we can increase our pay per hour.
By reducing the hours.
Exactly, so just work less hours.
That's like shrinkflation, right? Like instead of
yeah.
increasing the price, I give you less potato chips per packet.
Yeah.
Hence, decreasing the cost.
Exactly. It is hilarious. But
actually, that's quiet quitting, right?
It's
right,
hilarious,
right.
yeah.
Hey, that's great. They give themselves a pay raise via quiet quitting.
Yes.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
We cannot endorse, but we will say it's not bad.
Yeah.
Is that endorsing?
No lah.
All
It's
right.
a joke. What you say.
Yes, it's a joke. Do not do it.
I think we can end it. Yeah.
Okay, let's end it.
Tell us what you feel, because it's quite a subjective thing. Also, I think it depends how you look at it, and also I think quiet quitting, like the quota of what qualifies as quiet quitting, also not that clear. So how do you see it? Is this something you employ, and how would you justify it as something, and what's your situation? Please feel free to share. We'll be happy to. We read everything. We don't reply to everything, but we read everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except the spam.
The spam I also read, because you gotta read it to know that it's spam.
Okay.
Right.
I see
So you
the
can't
the
help.
first few lines. I am so thankful.
Yeah. Mr. Augustus Justin. Always, then 50 replies, then all like, oh, do. Wow.
Actually, not bad. Actually, it's more realistic than last time.
Yeah. They're evolving, and it's more
because they
sophisticated.
actually tag on to the thing.
Yeah. Then every one of them like, wow.
Fucking smart. Whoever makes this a
Yeah,
congrats,
whoever
man.
thought of this, then
Yeah.
everybody copied that
You have
person.
upskilled yourself.
Yeah, you disrupted the industry, you know?
You did not quiet quit. We are proud of you.
Yeah, we're proud of you. Yay!
Okay, we can end it. It's
Let's
Viv.
end it.
No, you got to tell people to subscribe also. So
Oh,
please
okay,
remember
okay.
to subscribe to our podcast. We are on YouTube, we are on Spotify, we are on Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay.
Follow us at the book Salaryman.
Yes.
Yay.
Thank you, Viv. Yeah, we always forget this thing. That's why we
Yeah,
need Viv
yeah.
in
Viv
our,
is the best.
in our company to help us.